it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, you know me, if you've watched this channel, I really love to kind of use things up, keep it simple, keep it with things that you often have at home already, or if you've been crafting for a short amount of time, you'll be able to find on hand. And today is pretty fun. So I am going to start off kind of searching for the colors that I really want to use. Now, I have a few of these little color pads now, and I do find them helpful when I'm just looking for colors that are going to coordinate together. And at this point, I was just trying to pick out a couple of base sheets that I might use for my card fronts. So just kind of browsing, I guess, at the moment. Obviously, at this point, you could use anything you have. If you have colored cardstock, if you have paper pads like this, you could use something with a little more pattern if you want to get jazzy. You could create your own with inks or backgrounds, anything like that that you want to use. Now, I also am not sure yet, so I have this embossing folder, which is called the Crochet Mandala, which I absolutely love this one. It's a gorgeous, I think it's a 3D embossing folder, but I also have this a little bit more simple one from Dauber, and I just wasn't quite sure which one I wanted to use. I think the Dauber one has been discontinued. It's a very, very old embossing folder, but I love it, and it's so versatile, so I have kept it in my stash. But I do love the crochet background of the other embossing folder. So at this point I wasn't sure, but so I just did a couple, and I've settled on this kind of light pinkish color from the Harvest paper pad. Now at this point I'm going to cut these down just a little bit and then put them aside. I like having a white border on my card fronts, so I have cut these down to be, I think, 3 3/4 by 5 or so inches. Now I have some double-sided sheets here, double-sided adhesive sheets. These ones happen to be from scrapbook.com because these are sticky. These are so sticky. There is nothing coming off these once they are stuck down. So I think I chose maybe 1 3/4 inches. I can't remember what I chose, but just a strip to go down the side. And then I'm going to cut this down to be the 5 inches just so that it basically measures exactly what I need for my card front. Now all I do is I peel back just a little bit, and then I line up the top there, the rest of it, so the exposed bit is at the bottom, you can see, and then I line up the rest, and then once I have it in place I push down at the bottom where the adhesive is exposed, and then I'm able to get this all lined up and make sure it's even at both ends, and then I give it a good press down. Now this is where the fun part comes along, because this is something that you could do in a whole different range. I just decided to put it on a card today. So I'm going to use the Rainbow Sparkly Glitter. This is from scrapbook.com, a paper pad. I just need a tiny little bit from each paper pad because that's all I'm going to end up needing for this. But kids will also love this, and you can turn them into bookmarks, and you can just put them in between some clear plastic as well. But all you need is, I don't even know what this tool is called. Is it a hole punch when it's just one? I don't know what it is, but a hole punch, you know, like just a normal hole punch. And all I'm going to do, this one in particular collects the little punched holes. Now, if you wanted to, you could probably do this with a die, but I suspect that might take you a little bit of time. You could also just hand cut them out and have any form. You could use lots of different shapes for this. I mean, you could just use die cuts in general. Some floral die cuts would be gorgeous going up and down here. I mean, now that I'm thinking of it, the options are really endless, but I was doing dots for today just because I think this was really fun. I ended up doing this with my kids, and we turned these into some bookmarks, and then we also did some Christmas decorations for on the tree. So I have collected them all in the top. I pull back that little thing, and I have got these 3 different colors of glitter cardstock. Now, it's not actually, I think it might be like printed glitter. I'm not sure. It feels textured, but it certainly doesn't shed glitter, so I'm not sure if it's printed, but it definitely doesn't come off, and that's what I need in life. I'm not a fan of glitter going everywhere and finding it all over my face when I go for school pickups and things. So I have turned all of them over. I went for sort of a purpley, then a pinky purple, and then kind of an orangey color. So with this piece of double-sided adhesive, I started to pull this off actually at this point. And then I thought, actually, do I want this pressed on a little bit better? So just so that the adhesive followed the pattern, I actually decided to put this back in my embossing folder, and I'm going to run this through. It lines up really easily because you just kind of slot it into place because of all the embossing. run this back through my Big Shot, and then that way the adhesive is going to be perfectly pressed in. So now I can take off the release paper, and I have this big sticky long sheet that I'm going to adhere all of these dots down onto. Now this could be kind of a painful process, but honestly I use a little wax pencil here. I think they use this in nail salons and things for picking up all of the little stones, but this made it really, really quick. This is cheap and cheerful. I picked this one up for 20 or 30 cents, I think. These days everything is getting more expensive, so I'm sure that's doubled to more like 60 cents or who knows, but still a really good tool, because even when it gets dull, you just sharpen it in a normal pencil sharpener and you're away laughing again. So once I've got all of the dots on there, it was pretty speedy. I don't want it completely covered up, but I just want about that many. I have a piece of clear acetate here, and I'm just cutting this down to be exactly the same size as the piece of double-sided adhesive. So this is going to go on top of it, and there is still enough adhesive exposed that it's going to stick to it perfectly well. Now I just like this because it covers up obviously all of the sticky parts. I left it to be just I think like 1 or so mil wider either side, just so that there was definitely no sticky exposed or anything like that. I'm cutting off each of the ends so it's nice and flush with the top and the bottom, and this is a really fun, super easy card to make. Now to finish this off, I do have this is a Slimline die. It's the Slimline Hello Word Topper die from Picket Studios, and this one is one that I like because even though I don't make Slimline cards, well, I shouldn't say I don't make, but I very, very rarely make them. I just see this as an absolute bonus because this means I can shift around the die to suit where I want the sentiment on my card. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but you know, I can shift it left and right and I still have heaps of room to decide which way I want it to go, so I'm not limited, and I like that. Even though it's a Slimline die, I think that is perfect. Now this stamp set here is the Garden Blooms stamp set from Julie Hickey. I just really like this one, this gorgeous long sentiment, and this is going to sit perfectly on that strip beneath the Hello die. So this works out really well. I picked a VersaFine clear ink that was just a pinky purple that was going to kind of go with the colours I had used in the glitter dots. And then here is where I can decide if I want to go left or right, which way I want to centre it, but I really like this one to the left, so I'm just going to cut this so I know roughly where to stamp and center my stamp that I'm going, my little sentiment, sub-sentiments that I'll put down the bottom. So I decided to go basically to the far right, which is why I cut off that little trimming bit, letting me know whereabouts I should pop it. But this just makes life really, I like this Hello die. I have plans for this. So I am going to add a little bit of foam tape. This is another thing that I thought about when I was purchasing this. How would I pop this up easily? The letters are nice and thick, which means I'm not going to have to be super fiddly with foam tape. So this makes it really easy. All I do is cut some strips and it's just fine. So I think about all of these things when I'm going to purchase something. How am I going to use this? How will it look if I want to pop it up? How will it look if I want to do some partial die cutting with it? How will it look if I want to do some paper piecing with it, if I want to have each of the letters different colors or something like that? How am I going to do all of these things? Am I going to be able to use this in lots of different ways? So then it's really just a matter of putting everything together. I'm going to put this down onto a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base, and this is just, I really love those gorgeous dots. Something fun, something easy, and then the sentiment straight across the middle, kept nice and white, makes it just stand out and pop off the background. It also brings in the border, the white border from around the outside, brings in that gorgeous bright white. And then just for a little bit of something extra at the end, I'm going to bring in a glitter pen, a clear glitter pen, and just pop it on the word hello just to give it a little bit of sparkle too. But this was a really simple, fun card, and we had a whole lot of fun afterwards with the kids also doing this. I kind of tried it out myself, knew where I was going with it, and then I was able to have lots of fun with them. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video today. As usual, I will leave links to the products down below, and I will also leave a link to the Buy Me a Coffee, which helps me out so much. It helps me run the channel and keep everything moving along. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I wish you some happy holidays, no matter where in the world you are for Christmas. And let me, if you would like, let me know what you're up to for Christmas. What's your sort of family traditions and what you end up doing for Christmas Day? I would love to know down in the comment section down below. So other than that, see you next time. Bye!